growing up is realizing that Daniel Bryan won the argument between him and The Miz on the episode of Talking.
There is more important things to be discussing, but like you're literally just wrong here. And let me just break down why. The Miz's whole promo. First of all, he's also melded with his heel character in this promo. So you have to remember that while the reality is there, Miz is still conducting himself in character as a heel. So there's certain ways he has to talk to Daniel Bryan, included with facts, which is what heels do, to present this promo accurately for him to fit the story, to fit the interaction between him and Daniel Bryan. He knows Bryan is a bad man. He knows Daniel Bryan is who he is in that ring. The whole critique of him was factual because while there is a respect for wrestling, and Daniel's one of the technical, he's one of the most pure wrestling guys of all time, blah, blah. He has this IRL view of how wrestling is. He's a snob, which is valid, and you should be. But his problem is Miz is conducting himself in the way that he is allowed to be. Just like like Daniel Bryan was doing when he was fucking doing the work that he was doing. They can only work with what they are given. If Miz can do movesets and rules and wrestle a certain way that protects his body, that keeps him there weekly to sustain his life and his family and wrestling in general, but he still adds to the art of wrestling, why are we even having this discussion? We're having this discussion because people like Daniel Bryan look down on people like Miz. The same people that Miz got bullied by in the back, got treated like garbage, went through all that, what's it called? Hazing that he dealt with. And not just hazing. He got dealt with, he got treated like a piece of garbage backstage, okay? It wasn't just hazing. They literally did not like him, didn't think he deserved to be there. When he was passionate about wrestling, he actually loved the business. He actually learned the business. He actually is one of the better ones that can accurately execute it to a high level and stay within the constraints that WWE has him on. And you hate him for that? That's fucking insane. Because guess what, Daniel? He's like all of you. The difference is his background was different. That doesn't change shit about how good somebody can be. No, Daniel was not right in any format, even in his own argument, because everything that Miz represents in wrestling, Daniel represents in wrestling. They just have it in a different way because their styles are different and their stories are different and how they tell it is different. But guess fucking what? You can tell by how Miz wrestles. What does he focus on? Storytelling, character writing, cohesiveness, in-ring psychology. All of that is what Miz has always been good at and forwarded. Miz has great matches with great people. Are you looking at him going, oh my God, 5-star matches back to back, back, back? No, but you remember him. You remember promos. You remember segments. You remember feuds. You remember moments. You remember his reigns. You know why you remember those things? Because Miz focuses on what is important in wrestling and art in general. The totality of the writing, the execution. He's a good wrestler too. If he wasn't a good wrestler, he wouldn't be able to put on good to decent matches, especially storytelling filled matches. He wouldn't be able to do those things well. Just because he isn't technically doing these crazy shit things does not mean that he's not a good or even fucking great wrestler. He's a fucking legend at this point, and we're still having a discussion whether he's a good wrestler or not because people have a misunderstanding of what a good wrestler is because they delete things that make you a good wrestler in totality. Daniel was not right in that conversation. He was actually wrong. But the fact that you feel like he is Miz's heel working on you. Because he talked down to that man and yelled at him a certain way. He's a crazy heel that's talking crazy. And because he's outclassed by this guy to you, you're proving his entire point. The whole point of why Miz felt that way in the promo. Nothing Miz said was incorrect in that promo. That's why people love that promo. But again, I digress. I don't want you to think I'm a Miz Glazer, which I am a Miz Glazer. I was there from when he debuted, and I've loved him the whole time ever since because I've already known what he was. And I'm glad he's finally getting somewhat of the respect he deserves, but he's still sitting here getting disrespected like he's not one of the GOATs in this game when he's consistently been that guy. And been that guy that'll rely on for the company. The guy that puts people over. The guy that is not afraid to be the loser. But even though he is that guy on the mic, in character, in ring psychology, constantly there, constantly working, constantly uplifting everybody he can in every way. Don't fucking talk about The Miz like he's not fucking him. Like, it's fucking crazy to me. Anyway, but back to Daniel. My other big point about Daniel is when Miz said to go wrestle, he was like, you know what I would do if I wasn't wrestling? I would make sure I could go wrestle if I loved it so much. If you love wrestling so much, go and uplift wrestling. Do what you want to do. WWE isn't the only place to be. That's what Miz said to him. Was that not true? Is that not what he did? For you to even have this argument, he had to go to somewhere else so he could be allowed to wrestle and wrestle again. By the way, he did come back and wrestle in WWE before. So, like, so yeah. So when WWE was like allowing him to wrestle again and he was, doing great, but at the time, you have to remember the time of the promo, Daniel Bryan should have left. Daniel Bryan should have left if he really felt good enough and should have wrestled somewhere else and put on these amazing matches and amazing moments that he was talking about. Like, if you love wrestling so much and you're so about the culture of wrestling and it's so important to you to where you're going to demean and critique it in a way where it's being done well and represented well, but you're such a snob that you're tearing down one of the biggest and most important figures in modern wrestling who has been doing it for a very long fucking time because you think you don't view him a certain way because you are an indie wrestling guy. Miz gave his fucking heart and soul to this company the way everyone else did that loves it that way and follow the rules the way everybody else has that way, and has made moments, has made historic reigns, has furthered the importance of wrestling while also taking what he can get and working the best he could with it. Like, I don't even remember him having complaints about stuff he's done, even though I'm sure he has, but the way Miz is, he just tries to do what he can to do better. And I'm not saying having critiques is bad. I'm not. I love when Punk is pissed off. I loved when Moxley tore apart WWE. Yeah, fight the system. Call out the bullshit. But for Daniel Bryan to treat Miz like Miz isn't who the fuck he is batshit crazy. Just like it's crazy when the fans fucking do it. Stop playing with the Miz. Stop playing with people who wrestle like the Miz. Just because they're not this technical, flippy, super insane aerial guy who wants to harm their bodies and kill themselves. Wrestlers die early. I don't know about y'all, but I love wrestling, okay? I don't want the wrestlers to die early because they're doing all these crazy things in these matches. Yeah, that's going to happen, and I've accepted that, and I understand the culture of it, and I respect it. But to a degree, if you don't have to do that and you can make compelling art, why the fuck would you not? And you know why Miz can do that way is because he was in the WWE format. He adapted to that. He was with indie guys. Miz and Morrison was one of the greatest tag teams of all time. He was with an indie guy that was a high-level wrestler. Like, what are we talking about? He doesn't fucking know wrestling. He's not a wrestler. It's fucking preposterous bullshit. That's what it is. So, I just have to tell you, you're wrong, and it's all in that promo. Like, everything you needed is in the promo. Just rewatch it, and there's not a wrong thing that Miz says to that man at all. At fucking all. That's why Daniel walked away. He walked away because he was pissed because the Miz was fucking right. And also, it was part of it. He was pissed off. And he can't fight on camera. He infused it. Because that's what art is. It was infused. But the point is, the Miz was fucking right. Also, I'm not yelling, I promise. I'm just very passionate. I promise.